And coming up on this episode of the Marty Mariner Show, well, what a special treat we have in store for you during this episode. The new football manager of the Central Coast Mariners men's team, Mark Jackson, joins me for a bit of a chat, bit of a chinwag, bit of a conversation. We talk about his early years of falling in love with the game, his playing career through to his managerial career, and how did he end up going from places like Leeds, Huddersfield and Scunthorpe out to under the palm trees and sauce bottles of the Central Coast. It's an absolutely awesome story. Make sure you check it all out from start to finish. You'll absolutely love it. Get to know the new boss. It's really cool to hear him talking about his experiences so far. Speaking of which, we better not keep the great man waiting too much longer. Don't want to really annoy him after one interview. Let's get it all rolling and let's kick that promo into gear. It's the Marty Mariner Show. And welcome back to the Marty Mariner Show. And I said we had a very special guest joining us tonight in the week leading up to the first game of the men's competition. Our men's football manager, Mark Jackson, joins us. Mate, how you doing?
I'm good. Delighted to be on here chatting to yourself. And, you know, it's probably the first one I've done as well. So it's good to be chatting about what's gone on and looking forward to what's ahead.
Absolutely. Marty Mariner Show exclusive, as it should be too, mate, as it should be too. Mate, I want to ask you first up, your first footballing memory. What was your first memory of the round ball game?
Do you know what? I didn't start playing football until I was around about 10 years old, which is unusual for particularly kids now. When bear in mind, my little boy who's just turned 7 has been in the Leeds Academy for over a year now.
Yep.
So probably first footballing memory was for me playing on the local park where I used to live in Beeston in Leeds. Yeah, just playing there, and I was quite good at it for some reason. I don't know. I never played before. I was quite good, and I went up to the local team, and everything kind of went from there really quickly as well. Really quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember myself, and when people talk about memories of English football, it's throwing 2 jumpers down for a goal and staying there till it got dark and just before you got in trouble.
Two twigs in the ground. We used to have sticks in the ground, and we used to play. I don't know what it used to be, 27 aside or something like that.
if you were lucky, it was sometimes even more than that. But it wouldn't matter if there was 2 of you there. Wouldn't
no
matter.
bibs. Everybody just knew what team we were on.
Absolutely, just play. If they take you out, he's not on your team.
Good times.
Exactly right, mate. So was the family all involved with football? Because Leeds is a massive football area as well. Was the whole family into the football?
When I was younger, not particularly when I was first starting out, but obviously since I've been in the game and started playing at that young age, and all the family's been a massive part of my journey. With the support of my mum and my dad during the times when I was younger, like any young player. A lot of sacrifices as regards to traveling, and as it's kind of progressed from there, being with my wife now since we were both 14, we've been together since we were at school, so she's followed my journey as well, which has had a knock-on effect where her family have followed my journey as well. So it's nice that I get support. I get a lot of support, and I'm grateful for that throughout my playing career, but probably even more so now on my coaching and managerial career, nothing more so than moving to the other side of the world and my family coming with me. So I'm really grateful for that support I get all the time from them, my close family, and also the surrounding family as well.
Absolutely. And in those early years, because you sort of mentioned about when you first started playing, but who were your footballing heroes as you grew up?
Gaza for me.
Yeah,
Gaza was a big one, 1990 World Cup, and
yeah,
David Batty, who was at Leeds.
yeah,
David Batty, because he was a young player coming through at Leeds.
yeah,
I can always remember watching him. Tough tackler, midfielder, local lad, and
yeah,
it's kind of what you wanted to aspire to. Just growing up really a stone's throw away from Ellen Road.
yeah,
It was, yeah, I can remember looking up to David Batty. Then obviously the World Cup was, particularly in 1990, was Gaza, and he was
yeah,
unbelievable at that time. So
yeah,
yeah, it's probably changed over the time, over the years, as I kind of fell into the positions I were playing in. So you kind of looked at the players in your positions and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like Tony Adams and stuff like that when he was at his prime coming through at Arsenal and things like that.
yeah,
But yeah, they were the first ones. Certainly, David Batty being the Leeds one,
yeah.
and Gazza being the kind of global superstar in the 90s.
Absolutely. I mean, coming through Leeds too. I mean, obviously it's before you were born, but the Don Revy era through Leeds was just definitely the golden time, and the players that came through at that stage as well were just world beaters, right?
Well, I can remember watching. My dad had all the videos of that era,
Yeah,
so I grew up watching the videos of them. I
yeah,
loved it. Eddie Gray. I was lucky enough to be coached by Eddie Gray, and I still know him now and still speak to him. When I was over in Leeds, and he's always around the club. And Peter Lorimer, Jack Charlton, Norman Hunter,
exactly.
Mick Jones, all them kind of players.
Yeah,
Billy Bremner. I grew up watching them, not
yeah,
actually there, but obviously on video. So I knew a lot
yeah,
about them and the history of Leeds United, and
yeah,
that kind of followed me throughout my journey at Leeds, and I knew what Leeds was about. And for me to be able to progress through and play, even though it's only a handful of games for the first team, but I was very proud of what I achieved, and that I was able to do that.
absolutely. And tell us, how did that journey begin at Leeds United?
Yeah, like I said, I only started playing when I was 10, and when I was 11, I got picked for the Leeds Centre of Excellence, which it was back then. It wasn't academies and things like that. It was kind
Yeah,
of the Centre of Excellence. And
yeah,
from there went training at the Centre of Excellence all the way up until under 16s, and I got offered a YTS, which it was back then.
yeah,
So I used to do a YTS scheme, which I did 2 years of that, and leaving school at 16 and did 2 years YTS, which I look back on now, and I was only speaking to someone the other day, and what a fantastic part of a young person's life. I look back on it really fondly. It was
yeah,
tough. Don't you get me wrong? It was really, really tough back then,
absolutely. Yeah,
and more so than the young players have to do these days. They don't do anything.
yeah,
But it's a different world.
different
But
world. Yeah,
yeah, it's a different world, and there's different things. But we enjoyed the camaraderie and the hard work, and I think it installed a lot of the discipline into how I am now.
mm,
The work ethic and working under Eddie Gray and Paul Hart in particular, really
yeah,
hard taskmasters, and we had to be on our game all the time, and they taught us the game as well, and we learned the game, and came through the YTS scheme and made my debut at 18 at Leeds. So I was very proud of that. It was a proud moment for me and the family who, like I
yeah.
said, sacrificed a lot over the years to take me about and support me during my early stages.
And absolutely. And it was what was it, 97 when you played under 20s for England in the World Cup too. Couple of famous names in that squad too. I think Michael Owen was playing in that squad as well. That must have been pretty cool to be kicking the ball around with those lads too.
Yeah, I think we played the year before in the European Championships as well. I think we come
Yeah,
third in that, if my memory serves me right. I should know, really. And then we went to Malaysia and played in the Under-20 World Cup. And yeah,
yeah,
there were lots of Michael Owen, Jamie Carragher,
yeah.
Dan Murphy, Matthew Upson, Jody Morris, Jason Crowe. It was a good team,
Good sign.
really,
Yeah,
really good team. Jason Yule was in there as well, who's
yeah,
played a lot of games. Uh, so that was a good experience to play in that. I think we got beat by Argentina
yeah.
in the quarter final. I think remember I had to mark Pablo Aimar and I brought him down for a penalty. So yeah, it wasn't a great game for me, but
Good memory, but
but an experience, yeah, an
yeah,
experience. So yeah, to say that I've achieved that was good.
yeah.
Yeah, and something I can be proud of.
Oh, absolutely. And in the end, I think it was over 250 senior appearances and was it 136 for Scunthorpe, the Iron. What was it like playing there? Because that's the heart of English football right there, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a real shame to see how they've fallen a little bit in recent years, but I think they're on the turn a little bit now with the takeover. But that was a really enjoyable part of my career. I mean, to leave your hometown club was difficult, but you get to a stage. I think I was 22 at the time, and once you've played a bit of first team football, I had a couple of spells at Barnsley and Huddersfield on loan, and once you've played first team football, you get that bug for it. Reserve team football is serves its purpose for a while, but you want to play competitive and you want to play first team. And an opportunity come for me to go to Scunthorpe, and I went there and I had, I think, around about 4.5 years there at Scunthorpe. We moved over there, even though it wasn't far from Leeds.
Yep.
We moved over as a family,
yep.
and because that's important to me. It's one of the values I have now is kind of an all-in mentality, and I had that as a player. I hope I hope fans would say that about me, that I was all in.
Yeah.
Might never have been the greatest of players, but I was all in, and I'm certainly that as a manager. I'm all in. And like when this opportunity come about to come over here and manage this fantastic club and take over from Nick, who's done a fantastic job.
Yep.
To have the responsibility of continuing that and evolving that, I didn't take it lightly, and hence why my family are all moving over as well. So yeah, that all-in mentality is important to me.
100%. Was there a time during your playing career you actually looked at the managerial side and went, I can see myself doing that? Was there a time when you started thinking, maybe that's more for me and that's what I can be doing?
It was more at the back end of my career, probably at the back end of my time at Scunthorpe. And I think after Scunthorpe, I went to Kidderminster, down in Birmingham, and I started my coaching journey there as well. So I was kind of living away from home for a bit. So I used to kind of volunteer in the community to go out to like the schools and the younger age groups, and I got a taste for it. And yeah, I mean, even back then, although managing people and dealing with people wasn't at the forefront of it, but now I look back, I understand what management is about, and it's about obviously the team and football, of course, but it's the modern day responsibility for that is kind of managing people, managing up, understanding people, and things like that, and leadership. And I was intrigued by that side of it, and every kind of year that goes by, that's intrigued me more, to the point where I'm really looking to implement in how I work. Is it's not just about me and another coach and the players, it's about the wider team, and that's really important. And really connecting with the community, like I did at Scunthorpe and Leeds. Leeds was my hometown club. Scunthorpe moved over there. I used to, I said, if I was going to play, I want to be all in. I want to be able to be about the town and things like that. And that's what I'm looking forward to doing here, because I know that is such a massive value which a club hold dearly, that family value.
Yeah, 100%. And I think was it the under-23s at Leeds when you took over? That would have been a thrill on two fronts. I guess taking on the role, but being back in that hometown kind of feeling, seeing them running out there and playing and being a big part of the club must have been a real thrill too.
Yeah, I mean, I went back in 2015 as under 15s and under 16s lead coach, and the year after that I moved up to the under 18s. Had success there as well with the players, so kind of followed these players through.
True, yeah.
And then went up to the 23s with them as well. So I kind of we kind of followed each other's journey, likes of Charlie Creswell and Jamie Shackleton and Jack Clark, who's now playing, Ollie Casey.
Yeah.
Robbie, they're still playing now. So it was a fantastic group of players, and I was privileged to be able to kind of follow them through and kind of help nurture them. It wasn't just me; it was a multidisciplinary team of staff around every player to help them develop. But I'm sure I had some kind of impact on their career, and I'm glad to see them still playing now. But it was a great time for me to progress, and I'm always thankful for Leeds on that as well. And a big part of how I work is, I said it to someone the other day, it's about empowering your staff as well, not just to be that. I think the dictator kind of manager these days is dying a death, and you've got to be able to be that leader who empowers people. And I think you empower people by helping them develop as well, even in the role they're in. So if people feel like they're developing, staff around them, not just players, if they feel like they're developing under you as well, and they can see that, then their performance is going to be better. So I'm a big believer in that. Big believer.
Oh, 100%. Then you moved on to the first team coach under Jesse March. A learning curve, but how good was that? That must have really been, for a coach to sort of step in and be in that kind of environment, that must have been the next level, right?
I think it was the next step for me. So with the 23s, the way Marcelo Bielsa worked, I was with them on a daily basis on the training pitch, because his training model really incorporated the under 23s.
Yeah.
Without going into any detail on that, it was such a complex way of working. It was that's probably in a podcast by itself to talk around that. But I was really, really close to that, and I was really, really privileged to be a part of that, because I can remember asking one of his staff that has been an English coach or manager who's ever been as close to Marcelo, and their answer to me was no. So I felt very privileged in that. It was tough and it had challenges, and it brought out the best in me, I thought, and I did a lot of learning and reflecting during that period. And then when obviously Marcelo moved on, Jesse came in, and I think Jesse wanted someone who knew the club, knew the younger players as well. And I was, I was there to help support him in that first season, and where we retained our Premier League status as well on the last day, and then kind of moved up there permanent with him as well. So that was a real privilege for me to be able to do that and support someone like Jesse, who'd achieved a lot in the game as well, and is a fantastic manager and coach. So I've had learning over the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 years, real intense learning on how I want to evolve myself as a manager, and learning from that kind of world-renowned coaches. But I think the important thing there is blending it with my beliefs as well. That's really, really important.
And do you think, and I mean, you sort of touched on it before, the development these days of coaches and managers really putting their own stamp on a team. Like, you talk about Bielsa, we talk about Ange Postecoglou at Tottenham as well, the whole Ange Ball kind of thing. Is that where it is now? It's kind of, yes, we have our systems of play, but there's really that freedom, as you mentioned, go out and play football.
Yeah, certainly the game is becoming more tactical. Players are becoming more tactically aware of things. Even from when I was playing, even the analysis side of things is massive now. So formations change from game to game. They change from minute to minute within games even. And a big part of how we work and as a staff, and my ideas around the game is, I'm hoping and I'm really confident that in time that no matter what formation we put out, people will be to recognise what our team are about, and recognise a Mark Jackson team or a Central Coast Mariners team. And I think that the big thing for me is that I'm continuing what the philosophy of the club was. It's that underdog mentality, it's that front foot mentality and aggressive mentality. That's how I want to play, and I know that's how the club have played in the past. So it was a good fit, and hopefully we can evolve it and get better and have success together.
Oh, absolutely. All moving forward like that. That is great to hear as well. When did you first hear about the Central Coast Mariners and the whole opportunity to coach? How did all that come about for you?
Well, it was kind of speaking with Nick. I was really close with Nick. We knew each other because we were from the same area. When he grew up in Leeds, he played at Leeds, and we never crossed paths really. And it was a surprise meeting, really. We knew of each other. And in lockdown, I did a webinar with my assistant coach at Leeds, and he knew someone called Neil Mann at Wollongong. He was a technical director there, I think his title is, and he asked us to do a webinar for coaches and things like that. So during lockdown, we did a webinar on how we work and the work we did with the 18s. I was with the under 18s at the time, and Nick was on it, and he stayed on afterwards, and we ended up talking for a while afterwards. We exchanged numbers, and since then we've always kept in touch on Zoom calls, because we kind of have that same way of thinking about wanting to work with young players and developing players, and certainly that same idea around football.
Absolutely.
So we kept in touch, and he told me about the interest from Hibernian, and he never ever said that that's going to happen, but
Yep.
when I saw it did happen, I was ready for a challenge. I was out of work myself, which is a pitfall of any manager these days.
Absolutely.
So that's it's a pitfall, but there you go. It's something you have to deal with, and
Absolutely.
I felt ready, and it was I knew it was going to be a big challenge because I knew what a sought after appointment or job this would be with everybody all over the world, and I put myself forward for it, and I managed to go through the processes which the club put in place, and thorough processes, and and obviously I must have done something to impress Rich and
here we are.
Simon and Anton, and they must have kind of made a connection, and I'm sat here now talking to you.
Absolutely, and it's all ended well.
Yeah.
And what's it like? So you sort of come in. I mean, obviously the club had a great season last year, championship and all that sort of stuff. To come into that sort of environment, although there's been some player change, is it for you? Okay, that was all great, but this is where we're going to push on. This is our direction. Go from there. Is it kind of, guys, you did really well, but it's all brand new now?
Yeah, I think that's how it's got to be, and I think the players have that mindset as well. That you have to celebrate success in football 100%.
Yeah.
And whatever success that is, it might be winning the game. You have to celebrate. Of course you do. True. Because winning is important, and never mind the success the team had last year, winning the game at the end. I mean, I was on holiday and I sent a message to Nick saying all the best in the game. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to watch it. I'm going to have to pick it up afterwards because I was on holiday. Yep. And I can remember having the app on the phone. I kept seeing the goals going. Oh, what's going on? It's crazy. Yeah. We finally spoke afterwards, and you have to celebrate those moments, and you have to be proud of those moments. But there has to come a time where you have to go, right, that's in the past. We celebrated, we enjoyed it. It's part of our history. Absolutely. But now we have to build on that, and we have to create a new history. So I think that's what the players have. That's certainly what I have. I want to continue the good work what's gone on over the years with Nick and Serge, along with the staff who's been there. But I feel I can add value to the club as well, and bring a slight changes where a little bit different here and there, and hopefully that can help build success as well.
Yeah. So when you turned up at the Mariners, what surprised you the most when you came out? Was there anything that you went, wow, didn't realize this was happening, or this surprised you from everything?
Well, first and foremost, when I stood in that stadium for the first time, I'd seen pictures of it all the time, and my family had been looking at it. But it's even a different scenario when you stood on the pitch and you're looking out. It's real surreal. It was a surreal moment for me because I'd looked at the pictures so many times and like imagined it, but it was a real surreal moment for me. So it was, it's something I'm looking forward to. There, the area in general is so beautiful, and it's so different to England. England are good in different ways, but
absolutely,
as regards to, it's not something I'm used to coming from Yorkshire and Leeds. But the area is fantastic, and the people. I think the people really, really made an impact on me straight away. How welcoming they were at the club, because whenever you go into somewhere new, in one of my first meetings, I said, I had a little PowerPoint up there, and it was only little prompts for me, and I'm always open with the players. I say, listen, I'm standing in front of you lot now. There's 20 odd of you. There's only one for me, so I'm here. I'm a human being. I'm nervous. So these prompts are just for me. So bear with me. But the staff had been fantastic, because change is not always an easy thing, particularly off the back of some success as well. And there would have been a lot of disappointment with losing the qualities of Nick and Serge as well because of their success. So there's always that apprehension. So for the staff to, and I'm on about the whole staff as well. The whole staff, not just the footballing staff, the whole staff at the club have been fantastic in welcoming me, and the staff I brought in as well. And
Yeah.
It seems to have been so far a real smooth transition, and
Yep.
everything's going well.
Yep.
I'm under no illusions there'll be challenges, because that's football.
Absolutely.
That's football, of course it is. But we feel like we're putting a lot of processes and things in place now that when them challenges do come, we can deal with them quickly, and we know each other, and we've got that relationship now where we can act quickly and do our best for the players to help them perform on the pitch.
Yeah. And I remember, I spoke to you briefly at the family day that we had a week or two ago, and there were a number of people coming over wanting to get a photo and say good day. What was there a part of that was a bit of a pinch yourself moment? Like, I'm now out in Australia coaching this team, and people want their. Was there a little bit of a wow? Here we go.
I think I have at least two of them moments every day.
Right.
We'll be driving back in the car with Danny, and we're driving past one beach.
Yep.
We at least have two of them moments every day.
Nice.
So it's a nice feeling. So listen, I'm really looking forward to the challenge, and that's what it is, a challenge.
Yep.
We view it as that. We're here to impact the club, impact the community, impact the players. And if we know we can do that in the way we want to do that, then we know that success will be a byproduct of that, and will come. So we're really confident in that, and to have that be so smooth in the last 3 weeks has been a credit to the players and the staff around the club.
Yeah. No, I've always said our staff are legends, and it'll always be that way, I'm sure. It was nice of you. The first game in charge at Gosford there, belting down of rain, was probably a little bit Yorkshire-like for yourself. But I did notice that very animated on the sideline. Is it just that official that's keeping you from wanting to run on the field and play yourself? Is it that kind of feeling, hold me back?
No, not as regards to playing, because my joints just don't take it anymore, unfortunately.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm all in. That's how I am sometimes. And, I might lose myself sometimes, but it's my enthusiasm to want the players to do well, my enthusiasm to help support the players, and encourage them to be better all the time. And that's all I want. I want the best for the club. I want the best for the players collectively, and I want the best for the players individually. That's all I want.
100%. And and to wrap up, first game this Friday night over in Adelaide. Happy with the week's training, and can Friday get here quick enough for you?
We've been really happy since the AFC Cup game, because we knew we had a period of time to work. We didn't have much time to work with the group leading up to that. So to get the result and the level of performance, which I thought we got there, was really, really pleasing. But we knew we had that period of time then to work with the players. So we got a little bit more light now.
There we go.
So we knew we had that period of time to work with the players, and like I said, every day we as a staff we plan, we review the training every day, and we've been really, really pleased with what the players have delivered and the outcomes. And it's not always been perfect, and it won't be perfect, because that doesn't exist in football, unfortunately. The need to strive for that perfection is important, but it's never going to be there. So we're really, really pleased with how the players have responded to our way of working. And every single one of them who is fit to play is fighting for a spot. So I can't ask any more from them. So we'll go again tomorrow, and we'll work there. And I've just spoke to the staff earlier, talking about, so when the game comes, I'm all about game day. That's what I like working for. And but we have to trust the processes in what we're doing, a belief in how we want to play and execute the things. And I'm a big believer, if you get all them things right, you've got a very high percentage chance of getting the result you want. It doesn't always work that way in football. We know that. We've had a good period of work now. Good processes are getting put in place, and the players seem to be responding as well. So yeah, we're confident that we can go out and execute what we want to do. And then, like I said, 9 times out of 10, if you do that correctly and everybody's on it, you tend to get a result. So let's hope that's the case.
Absolutely. Well, mate, I just want to thank you so much for joining us on the show this evening. As it's got darker and darker out where you are, but we've got the lights sorted, so we are all good. But no, really appreciate your time, mate. It's a few days away till travel and kick off for us, and we just can't wait for the double header, of course, over in Adelaide. But thanks a lot, mate. Hopefully we can get you on the show again during the season, have a bit of a chat about how we're going as well.
That'd be great. It's been a pleasure to chat, and can't wait to talk again soon.
Too easy, mate. You take care.
Cheers. All the best.
Thanks,
cheers.
And that brings us to the end of the episode for today. A massive thank you to Mark Jackson for sticking around to have a bit of a chat. Just so knowledgeable on the game of football. I just love hearing the stories of when people who've gone from falling in love with a game as a kid, playing, going through managers, and just to hear their whole journey. I could just listen to it all day. So thanks again to Mark. Really, really appreciate you spending your time, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you again during the season. Quick shout out to Will, the media manager out there at the Central Coast Mariners, who is all for making this thing happen. Really appreciate your work with this too, mate. Thank you so much. And obviously, thank you for sticking around until the end. If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. That always helps us and lets YouTube know that you're a big Mariners fan. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you are not sure how to, there's a little subscribe button down the bottom. Or just go onto YouTube, find the Marty Mariner Show, and follow the little link in there to follow us. We're on our journey to 200 subscribers. Some of the videos have been up around the 800-900 mark, which has been absolutely sensational. Thank you so much for that. Brings us to the end of the show for today. Cannot wait for this Friday night double header to the women and the men playing both over in Adelaide. We wish them all the best. Thanks so much for sticking around until the end. I hope you've really enjoyed it. It's been the Marty Mariner Show.